Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Asyraaf bin Harudin, and today I'm going to present about the individual presentation about NCR. Okay, so the first NCR, so you can see the picture, and so there are 3 points that I can give from this picture of the NCR. First, it's not according to the SOP regulation. Number 2, the equipment and also the container used in is not in appropriate way. Number 3, processed food falls on the floor and can cause all the contamination on the food. So next we go through the category of non-conformance. So number 1, equipment and tools. So the use of incorrect and inappropriate equipment. Number 2, processing. So there is no party take care of the process or monitor on the processing area. Number 2, the clause that related to this NCR. First is the MPPHM Domestic 2020. So we go through clause 17.173A. All the activities are related to the preparation and processing of raw material, product, menus or service must follow the law and the regulation in force. Number 2 is on clause 17.5G. The equipment and tools must be appropriate and comply with the legal requirement. And lastly is the corrective action. Number 1, use container that do not have hole so that small sizes product do not fall out of the container. Number 2, appoint a QA or QC to be able to take care and observe the product processing to run it smoothly. Okay, so for the answer number 2 is you can see the picture. The worker are not cutting the nails and keeping clean as a food handler. So you can see the nail is very long and they just keep clean for as a food handler. So we go through to the category of the non-conformers. So we can see worker. So the employee does not practice the personal hygiene ethnic when they do processing at the food production. So the clause that related to this NCR is on the MPPHM Domestic 2020 on clause 17.9B, personal hygiene should always be at a good level. Next, for the corrective action that can we take care on this NCR is number 1, provide awareness about training on hygiene as a food handler. Number 2, ensure that the cleanliness of each employee must be carefully maintained every day. So next we go through the NCR number 3. So you can see the picture. There is a rat carcass on the storage area. So NCR that I can found on this picture is does not control the entry of the pest. Number 2, there are rat carcass in the storage area. So the category of this non-conformance is hygienic. So the company does not place any traps and not taking measure to prevent the entry of the pest. So the clause that related for this NCR is MS 1500 to 2019 on the clause 4 to 5. The premise should be kept in a good condition, hygienic and maintained to prevent the pest access and to eliminate potential breeding sites. And the corrective action for this NCR is number 1, carry out sanitation on a scale so as to maintain cleanliness and prevent contamination from the pest. Number 2, put any traps to reduce the population of the pest. And number 3, make sure that the layout of the plant is made according to the guideline to prevent the entry of the pests. Okay, so lastly for NCR number 4, as you can see in this picture, this man is carrying a najis mughalazah animal into the transport that carries the final product. Number 2, the driver does not follow the halal requirement as a transport driver. So the category of this non-conformance is transportation and did not get explanation and halal certification in the field of transporting halal good or halal food. So the cost that related for this NCR is first MS 1500 2019 on clause 462. The transportation vehicle shall be dedicated and appropriate to the type of the halal food and satisfy hygiene and sanitation condition. Number 2, the clause that related is MPPHM Domestic 2020 on clause 17.7E. Any activities of transportation and distribution of raw material or raw products must comply with the requirement of legislation and also the regulation in force. And lastly, on this correction activities, there are 3. Number 1, Avoid any materials or animal into the transport that may cross contamination on the product that being carried. Number 2, ensure that the transport service used has a halal certificate that has been verified by the JAKIM. And lastly, make sure that the transport service used does as well and is recorded every time the process tertentu is done. So that's all from me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.